Hi everyone and welcome into the show. Today we're going to be looking at 3 players you should be selling in your Dynasty leagues because their value might be a tad inflated or above where it should be on the market thanks to the NFL draft. I'm your boy John, you're watching John Talks Ball, and let's get into our first Dynasty sell of the day. Alright, so for our first sell of today's video, we're going to be looking to sell future Patriot AJ Brown, as it's essentially a mortal lock. He's going to be going to the Patriots following that June 1st important financial deadline for both teams. AJ Brown is going to be going into his age 29 season, going onto a new team with a stud at quarterback with Drake May, and the value proposition for him is very easy to see. He's likely to put up big points this upcoming year if he does go to the Patriots. However, Brown is just kind of a guy I don't want to see going into 2026. He just came off of a barely 1,000-yard season, and the signs of him slowing down were most certainly there. He was also causing a lot of internal problems with the team, something I don't love to hold in a dynasty asset overall. And just this is a point in time where you can get AJ Brown off your roster at maximal value, especially if you wait until he's traded officially to the Patriots. A lot of the deals going down in the market are sending Brown away for very premium returns, which we'll look at in just a moment, and he's a guy I'd be looking to offload off your roster at some point this offseason, especially if you can get a bigger value after the Patriots acquire him. Let's look at some of those deals to acquire to sell AJ Brown off of your roster. So this first deal on the left, we see AJ Brown packaged with David Montgomery, sent for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Romeo Doubs. Obviously, the centerpieces of this trade are going to be AJ Brown and Marvin Harrison, and David Montgomery on top of AJ Brown is not nearly enough to reach Marvin Harrison in my books. Romeo Doubs is probably going to be a fantasy wide receiver 3 or 4, especially if Brown joins the team. So you're basically just packaging David Montgomery and AJ Brown to get into Marvin Harrison, reducing the age on your wide receiver by 5 years, and Marvin Harrison still has a ton of breakout potential this upcoming season. Honestly, this feels like a fleece for the Marvin Harrison side of the deal. Now here in the middle, you're moving off of 2 of my least favorite wide receiver assets in the form of Rashee Rice and AJ Brown, so yes, of course I'm going to take that other side, especially considering you're getting 2 2027 firsts, which we'll say are mid for now, and 2 2027 seconds. This is a clear value win. You're getting off of 2 toxic assets you really don't want to see going into 2026 at a premium price. A no-brainer for the 2027 first side of the deal. And finally, here on the right, we essentially just went over this, but if you could flip AJ Brown for a 2027 first straight up, that is a deal I'd be making. Get out of Brown 1 year early and get assets in this loaded 2027 first round of selections next year. Alright, let's take a look at our next Dynasty sell of today's video. Alright, so our second sell of today's video is going to be running back of the Giants, Skattebo, who just survived the NFL draft, but is still coming off of a major lower body injury. Skattebo was a 4th round running back, and there was a lot of smoke the Giants might take Jeremiah Love this offseason in the NFL draft, which didn't end up happening. However, I will say with a 4th round running back like Skattebo, this is something you're going to have to worry about every single year. Eventually, with a 4th round running back, they're just not really a safe asset. See Tyler Algier, he's now been replaced twice, the poor guy, and he's just a guy that if you can get out of him on these premium prices, you should be. And let's take a look at what some of those prices are on the market right now. So Skattebo just got sold today for a 2027 first and a 2028 second in exchange for the package of Skattebo, a 4th and a 3rd in 2027. This one, similar to AJ Brown, is kind of a no-brainer. You're getting off a 4th round running back who had a major injury for 2027 first and 2028 second. That 2027 first is the main piece here and is the reason you should execute this deal. It's a no-brainer. 2027 firsts are going to be gold, and Skattebo is just a really risky asset when compared to it. In the middle here, we have the 105 exchanged for Skattebo. That means you're getting a player such as Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, or Jadarian Price if you make this selection. Just so much more of a value than Skattebo, who is a 4th round pick. You're getting into a guy who is a top 32 selection in this most recent draft, and an age reset, and an injury reset on top of all of that. Finally here, for Skattebo, I chose the display where he places amongst other assets on Keep Trade Cut. He's value adjacent to Travis Etienne, who just signed a big deal. I'm not too interested in Etienne, but just kind of an example of who he's back-to-back with. A 2028 mid-first. Oronde Gadsden in a tight end premium league would definitely be worth flipping into. And down here, Casey Conception, a wide receiver who just went in round 1 to the Cleveland Browns. An ugly name and landing spot, but certainly a guy I would prefer over Skattebo at price. Let's look at our third and final Dynasty sell of the video. Alright, so our third and final sell of today's video is going to be Bhayshul Tuten, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bhayshul Tuten is coming off of a year in the backup role for the Jaguars, rushing for 307 yards, catching 10 total passes, and scoring 7 total touchdowns. He's a big riser thanks to ETN's departure to the New Orleans Saints, and that he survived the draft, meaning the Jaguars didn't bring in any significant running back competition for Tuten in the draft specifically. However, a lot of Bhayshul Tuten's role is going to be mere projection. That backfield is going to be really ambiguous. They brought in Chris Rodriguez Jr. to play the hammer role in the backfield, and there's a real chance Bhayshul Tuten doesn't see the role a lot of Dynasty analysts are projecting him to see. And for the price he's going at on the Dynasty market, is someone I will happily sell at price. And let's take a look at what he's going for in your Dynasty leagues. Alright, so here on the left, we see Bhayshul Tuten and Denzel Boston packaged for Patrick Mahomes. This one's a no-brainer in Superflex. I would be shocked and would love to meet the guy who's making this deal. Patrick Mahomes by a lot here. Bhayshul Tuten, like I mentioned, doesn't have a secure role in the Jaguars yet and hasn't proven he can be a full-time starter like many people project him to be. And Denzel Boston just got taken by the Cleveland Browns at the top of round 2, and we are likely not going to see much year 1 production from him. In the middle, we have a 2027 first exchanged for the package of Bhayshul Tuten, the 210 and the 201. Here, it's the 2027 first side. As I mentioned, those 2027 firsts are just going to be gold next year. With a little bit of patience and the willingness to move on from Tuten, who's only displayed backup capability so far, you can just take that 2027 first and be cheesing until next year when it becomes worth even more. This final deal on the right here is going to be the 112 for Bhayshul Tuten and the 302. The 302 is just kind of a throw-in here, and you're essentially just getting a late first-round pick in exchange for Bhayshul Tuten in an ambiguous backfield. That 1.12 could turn into plenty of players such as Eli Stowers, Jeremy Bernard, Dazon Stripling, or even Denzel Boston, all players that are just more valuable than Bhayshul Tuten and have a safer floor. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video highlighting 3 players you should be looking to sell in your Dynasty leagues. If you liked the video, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and comment down below a player you're looking to sell in your Dynasty leagues. If you're looking for more from me, the John Talks Ball Community Discord will drop in early May, where I'll be able to help you guys with one-on-one Dynasty strategy, Dynasty trades, and any other questions you might have about your Dynasty leagues. That's all from me. I'm John, you're watching John Talks Ball, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.